We're at Wishful Acres. This is Nate and Penny, and they describe this as a brewery that's in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Now, everyone that told us we had to visit you said that it's in Lena, and it technically is, but it sort of isn't. Kind of walk us through that.
We're out in the country.
We
are literally out in the country.
It is worth the trip, I can promise you. But yeah, you're not super easy to find. Although in a day and age with everybody having apps, you should be able to find it.
Right off Highway 20.
Right
Just
off Highway 20.
a few miles down.
3 miles off.
Yeah.
And again, well worth the trip. I want to talk about Wishful Acres and the fact that this is kind of the fulfillment of wishes that you two made.
Right.
Can we get into that?
Sure.
It starts with you getting a Christmas present?
Yeah, so it was a birthday present, I think, wasn't
Birthday, okay.
I don't
The
remember
brewer
now.
system?
Yeah, I don't think it was Christmas or a brew.
it? Right, I think it was a birthday present.
But
It's really all her fault.
Did you get the present?
I did,
Yeah, okay.
I did. He had started getting into more craft beer.
Right.
And just being kind of the do-it-selfers that we are, I was like, just got to be made to make your own beer. So I did some research and got him his first kit, and then he just went crazy. And that was about 12 years ago, maybe now?
Yeah.
So at the time you're doing home brewery, and it's worth pointing out that this is a farm. It's a farm and a brewery.
Right.
It's both things kind of equally, or more farm than brewery. What would
It
you say?
started as the farm 13 years ago. And then he started home brewing, I think even after we had started the farm, or around the same time.
At the same time, yeah.
And we actually didn't live here when we started the farm. We lived in Freeport and rented a garden, like some farmland from some friends.
So originally, your garden originally was kind of like a backyard thing, and then you needed more space.
Yeah, I was out in the
Right.
country at a friend's house, and
Uh-huh.
so every year it got a little bigger, and then I started it like a business and did farmers markets, and we didn't have a name for it. And that's where the name Wishful Acres came from, because we really wanted a farm of our own.
Your wish was to have this farm, and then your wish was to have a brewery. Does it strike you too as odd that your wishes are to make more work for yourselves?
I know, right?
Like you could have wished for like $1 million, or you know, the power to fly. Your wishes come true, but it's because you guys are willing to
We
bust
worked
your
hard.
tails to
Yeah.
make it happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
So
It's a lot easier than it used to be, though.
Yes.
so
Definitely.
it was rough going at first.
Well, we bought the farm.
It was abandoned.
It was a foreclosure. It was a wreck. I mean, there were it was,
7 raccoons living in the house.
Oh, it was a mess.
7.
7.
Yeah.
Have you got that down to 0 or?
There
Oh,
are
yeah.
no, definitely got that down to 0.
Before we moved
Yes.
in. Yeah.
So you take over the land, and this is a big property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friends of mine that were raving about this place and showing me pictures. They were showing me the outside and like how the patio is and where you've got the picnic tables.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of space to use. A lot of times when we go places, they have kind of confined areas. You have all of this space to use, and you use it. And the comment I made to friends of mine when they showed me the picture, I said, "Oh, that's very smart. They've got the picnic tables really distanced well.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be great for coming out of when we were all concerned with social distancing."
Right.
And they said, "Well, no, actually, this was the summer before we went, before all the nonsense happened. So when you're here, you have the space to really explore and make your own.
Right. Yeah.
That's important to you guys, so that people don't feel like they're on top of each other, or
Well, I would
That
say
makes you more comfortable
yeah.
in a space. Yeah.
When we first had the outdoor seating, we were actually confined just to out here, which was much smaller.
right.
And then we actually expanded out this way. We had to get permission to do that. And actually, that started with COVID. We had the smaller space, and then with COVID, they let us expand.
They let us
this
expand
way.
almost, yeah.
It doesn't really follow the rules as they were written, but they actually rewrote the ordinance to let us do that.
Beer always tastes better when you get it at the brewery, and it always tastes better when you're able to see that the ingredients aren't coming from that far away. And what's genius about what you two are up to is a lot of the ingredients that go into the beer are from the farm where
Right.
you're brewing the beer.
Absolutely.
That's very unusual. Yes.
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, how
We
much
do
how much of what you're growing out here goes into my glass?
How much of the crops that we grow are
Yeah,
for the, are for the
what are
brewery?
you growing here that you make into
Oh.
into
We make
beer?
a basil beer every year.
We grow
Jalapeno
hops.
beer. We grow our own hops.
Pumpkin for the pumpkin
pumpkins for
beer.
Jacko Java every year.
Coriander.
Coriander.
Jacko Java?
Yeah.
That's like a pumpkin stout?
Pumpkin.
Yeah.
It's a pumpkin
It's
amber.
like an amber. Yeah.
Pumpkin
that
coffee
sounds-
amber.
And you grow your own hops here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what varieties are you growing?
Chinook, Willamette, Galena, Fuggle,
Some
Northern
Cascade,
Brewer,
don't we?
Cascade, and Sterling.
Kidding. That's a lot of hops.
Yeah.
The styles that you're into here. I noticed when I was looking, you guys are all over the place. And I mean this
Right.
compliment. I mean, there's a variety of styles.
Right.
Is there something like a common thread that ties everything together with the beers that you make?
Not really. I like to be all over the board. You give something to everybody, you know. Maybe I don't have everything everybody likes, but I try to get something that if you come in with different people, they all have something that they do like.
Okay.
So there's a Belgian style or a lager or a wheat beer or an IPA.
So you're not going to specialize and say we're going to do lagers or we're going to do.
I like doing lagers. Those are fun.
Good.
They are, yes.
Good. This is a Doppelbock, by the
Correct,
way,
yep.
that's in front of me here. This is called Bock to the Future. I don't know if
Yep.
this will be available when you come here. You're always mixing it up because I said normally when I'm sampling here during the interview, I like to get something that everyone can get when they come to visit. But Penny, you were saying you're
don't
just
tell
always
them.
changing things
Yes.
up, right?
Right.
And I would say it's more, he likes to experiment and not do the same stuff all the time. So I think that's more his side of the things. Like
Right.
this one's the main. It works out great, really.
Yeah.
When we come to Wishful Acres, I mean, this is an experience beyond just a tap room. Kind of walk us through the whole, everything there is to do when you're here, because there's
We
so
have,
much going on.
you know,
About a half acre of outdoor seating, and then
Right.
just this last fall we converted our greenhouse to seating. So that's open year round now.
it's heated also in the winter.
Heated in the winter.
So you can drink beer in a greenhouse in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic.
Like the little Christmas lights.
We have Christmas
in there.
lights that line it.
Music and
Wishful Acres, again, it's a wish, but it's also a ton of hard work. But the good news for us is these two do all the work. So make a wish and make your way up here to Lena, Freeport, just
Stevenson County. You're gonna have a great time out here.
Stevenson County. There you go. That's the way to do it. And while they're here, do you have to be part of the CSA in order to do the produce?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can only buy the beer.
Yep.
Right.
You know what? I'm okay with that. Nate, Penny, thanks for having us.
Thanks for
Thanks.
coming out.
You bet. Cheers.